Welcome back to Echo Ridge and another episode here in our Max Colonization series, where today our job is to fix up our very last planetoid. Before we can even think about that, we have to take a look where it is on the star map, where the planetoid of Frostado is only 7 hexes away. Not too shabby. For us though, that does not change what we'll have to... What happened here? We're just gonna go ahead and deconstruct those. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see. We do have our 2 planetoids already. Unfortunately, the ESS Colonizer has dealt with some bumps and bruises. You may notice that there's 12.5 kilos worth of oxygen pressure in here. And that's because during the near-death experience of the last episode, we had to put in a bunch of temporary oxalite. And since it was just sitting in its debris, whenever a carbon dioxide tile passed over it, well, it would start off-gassing. Our dupes here are going to have some popped eardrums for a little while. We also need to get them a new plant. There's another jumping Joya. And then over here on the ESS Explorer, we have re-outfitted it with another Trailblazer module. If you remember, we were rocking 2 Rovers modules for a little bit, but alas, we have to put a dupe in here to be able to land on Frostado. So without further ado, let's go ahead and nominate our second dupe. Univector Llama obviously is still the pilot. There you are, Josh. And then I will unselect Josh Manchester from this Trailblazer module, and we can then summon crew on both rockets. I also need to set both of their destinations. Let's double check to make sure there is a rover. There is. All in all, it's looking pretty good. Now, I don't have any sort of daydreams about the fact that I know I'm going to have to come back here because there's no way I'm going to be able to do everything we need to on that planetoid with 1 full oxygen tank. And there's not much I could do to reduce the height of this rocket to load in another one, which would give us more time there, simply due to the fact that our 2 fuel tanks and 2 oxidizer tanks are giving us a star map range of 20. Well, if I took 1 of each away, I would be left with 10 star map hexes, which would get us there, but just wouldn't get us home. Both the rockets appear to be ready, so let's go ahead and launch those and get this final planetoid underway. Oh, you might want to watch out there, Sweepy. And after all this time, apparently we've finally melted a conveyor rail. That is odd. It is fun to look at the amount of rail on this planetoid, though. We have stuff coming and going all the time. It looks like our trip to Frostado was not going to take too long. No matter how many times we have to come back, with the mission control speed boost, it's only between 2 and 2.5 cycles there. While the rockets are in flight, I was over here on our home planetoid, just doing a little bit of cleanup and some carbon dioxide management. I'm starting to build up the bottoms here, and that way all the carbon dioxide flows to one area, which is going to be here, in which all those heavier, nasty gases that we don't want will be sent to the vacuum of space after quite a long of a gas pipe trip. But I say all that because I was randomly clicking on the petrified fossil when I realized I haven't done the ancient specimen, and it's sitting right here, unchecked. So let's go ahead and excavate that. That'll be another nice little checkbox. And yeah, I know you still see these sporkids here on the bottom of the map. For those of you who did not remember, every single one of these tiles has over 5 million zombie spore germs. This one here has over 8 million. Well, a couple hundred cycles ago, I started cleaning out this whole bottom biome. Remember, there used to be a bunch of ice. It was a bee biome. In fact, you can still see the remnants of some of that cold. But it was also filled with carbon dioxide. So my thought is, I'm just going to break into it. Yeah, there's a little bit of carbon dioxide, 667 grams. In each tile, but is that really a big deal? No, I don't think so. And if you know anything about zombie spores, they don't last in oxygen very well. So I plan on just bulldozing it and let the spores do what they want. And there we go. Fossil data decoded. Story tree complete. We get the wonderful little message. But now we can activate the quarry. Quarry. And if I wanted to, I could take some of the 180.5 tons worth of diamond and turn it into some fossil. Well, for even more lime. But that probably wouldn't be worth it considering, well, I have 500 tons of steel. I don't need lime anymore. The Explorer and the Colonizer are on their way, and I reluctantly say for the second time, I may have made a small, minor oversight, and that's inside of the ESS Explorer. I had forgotten to take Llama and Josh out of their Atmo suits. And by the time I caught it, one of the Atmo suits was worn, and the other one didn't have any oxygen left in it. And although that would still allow us to complete the away team mission, I don't think the result would have been the same. I figure while we're waiting, we can go over what we know ahead of time about Frostado. It is a small frozen planetoid and does not naturally have meteor showers, although there's a star asterisk on that one. It's home to just an iron volcano, but in our case, we ended up with a lush core, so we may be able to utilize that for the duplicates that are going to be able to live here. 10,000 lux, pretty standard, 250 rads. We have the tundra biome, the space biome, and the forest biome. Once again, you wouldn't normally have a forest biome on this planetoid, so it would normally just be a tundra and a space biome. And without further ado, our two rockets have made it to the orbit of Frostado. Don't worry about this guy here. I think it's just a bug. Because as we can see, the colonizer is actually in this tile. If I come out of the star map and go back in, you can see they look just fine. So I suppose it is time go. Okay, while some of you may have gotten that joke, most of you are probably facepalming right now. Sorry about that one. Let's head inside the Explorer and pick out our suit. We have one with 91% durability, 23 kilos worth of oxygen, and then one with 31% durability, but 49 kilos worth of oxygen. So this is obviously the one we're going to put Josh Manchester in. Well, I suppose once they have a snack. Big fan of the pemmican is Josh. And as soon as that suit is on, time is of the essence. You don't want to be dilly-dallying after that suit is on because you will run out of oxygen on the planetoid. Now we need to put Josh inside of the Trailblazer module. Ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I was putting my cart before my rover. Let's unequip that suit. We need to send down the rover first. And this looks like a decent spot. Sure thing. Here comes rover. Let's do some measurements here. Ooh, the ceiling is not too far from the no-go area. Oh, this is not good. We're going to have to dig down just to be able to fit the rocket, which means there's going to be a whole area that is going to get superheated. Don't love that. This area here would be best because it's half covered by neutronium. Unfortunately, it's only 27 tiles to the ceiling. Step 1 rover, deconstruct the lander, and then I'll do some digs over here. For no other better reason to make it smooth and to give me a little bit more visibility so I can decide where I want to land the rocket. Great job, rover. Keep up the good work. After a little bit of exploration and realizing that while this planetoid is not very wide, it is pretty deep for how narrow it is. And I think this is a good thing because this POI is going to be the temporal tear opener. I don't want the rocket to be landing and messing with any of the components that we're going to have in place to open the temporal tear. So I think in that case, this is the side that we're going to want to land the rocket. What do we have here? Some wolframite? Oh, you know I love the juicy wolframite. Now, as long as rover doesn't get themselves stuck on this ledge, I'm going to keep digging down. I'll wait until rover finishes these two areas and then we'll dig down through here. Looks like we will not be able to dig up the wolframite. That's fine. But I think we're ready to send Josh down, or at least in a minute. I have to get to, I think it's 35 tiles. So the more that rover can do, the better for the rocket. Look at all the delicious sleet wheat naturally planted here. This would be wonderful to feed our dupes. If I can keep enough of them in place, I'll have to look and see how many sleet wheats it'll take to support 2 duplicants, even if the sleet wheat is wild. In fact, I might as well do that now. We get 18 sleet wheat grains over the course of 72 cycles. Going back to our amazing kitchen, you can see that the sleet wheat grains, it takes 3 of them to get a 1200 calorie frost bun, which means every 72 cycles with the 18 sleet wheat grains, I'd be able to get 6 frost buns. So 6 frost buns times 1200 calories is 7200 calories. And well, it's going to take 72 cycles to get it. So that's only 100 calories per cycle. So with 2 duplicates at the bare minimum, I would need 20 naturally planted sleet wheats. I'm going to pay attention to this really closely. That way rover doesn't try jumping up here and then getting stuck. That looks good. I mean, just keeping all these sleet wheats in the snow without disturbing them is going to be difficult. For instance, if I dig out these 2 tiles here, that way duplicates could walk under, this snow will fall and that sleet wheat will come up. So not only do I have to find 20 sleet wheats, I have to find paths to each of them. I don't know about the sleet wheat. I'll keep looking though. Why would you go over there, Rover? Yep, this is where it's going to take some help from Josh Manchester. Here is our wonderful suit. With the suit going on, I can put Josh inside the Trailblazer module. We'll come down right next to Rover. And that way teamwork will be able to make the dream work. You're welcome. It also means the ESS Explorer is done. So I can change its destination back to Fernial. And so Llama doesn't get burned when they get back, let's put them in the Atmo suit now. And then just to confirm, my rocket height is 35 tiles, which means I need 37 total tiles if I'm including the rocket platform. Another way to find this out is by going on the star map and clicking on your rocket. You can see that it has a height of 35. Right now, we're at 31, and I still have to build ladders. This is not going to be good. Time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. No. I need you to dig up the things that Rover can't dig. Let Rover do the rest. I only need something like 7 wide. Oh no, where's the other steel? I need to get the other steel. Let's move that over here, and I'll get rid of these tiles. That'll allow either Rover or Josh to go get it. No, you don't have time to clap, Josh. Trying to get this tile done. That way Rover can't jump back up here. Beautiful. The rest I will leave in place because I only need the minimum of 7 tiles. I believe it's 7. Yes, perfect. No, Rover, come here. Need you to come over here, buddy. There you go. Now dig that out so you'll stop trying to escape. There is no escape for you, Rover. Do we have 37 at this level? 37. Beautiful. I guess I'm gonna have to dig these out too because I'm gonna need a way to ladder myself up there. There is some granite on this planetoid, so I do have something to make the ladders out of. Ladders going in, rocket platform going in, that's gonna melt all of this. We're doing great. I shouldn't have been worried at all. Josh even has 30 kilos. Wait a minute. Wake back up, buddy. We're not sleeping yet. Josh still has 30 kilos of oxygen. We're fine. Let's go ahead and land the colonizer. I don't think it's a safety warning at all. Building ladders right next to the scaffolding where our rocket's landing. Ah, yes. The sweet smell of rocket exhaust. And it doesn't look like I need those. Welcome home, buddies. Oh, there it is. There's all that nice polluted water. All that polluted ice melted. That's a lot of polluted ice. I suppose I can take off red alert. And while there's not a lot of radiation here at only 250 rads per cycle, we will still build our sort of ceiling on top of the ladder run. So as we dig down more, we won't have to worry about the radiation when we're climbing down the ladder. Poor Rover just wants to go inside the Spacefarer module too. Trying to mop this liquid, because it would be really good to save, but it's probably going to just turn back into ice anyways. The average temps around here range from about -42, -50, -70 down here. Where interestingly enough, there's a couple tiles of sand. But let's put the away team to work and start digging down. We're also going to dig across and get into the temporal tear. And I think since I have so much granite, I am going to build the rocket exhaust absorbing brick. It's a work in progress. Here's a perfect example of a sleet wheat we're going to lose. So far in our exploration, it looks like we've found the iron volcano here. Oddly enough, it shows you what it is. I think it's because it's just barely peaking above this solid carbon dioxide. I don't know if I'm going to tame it yet, because over here on our home planetoid, I already have an infinite supply of iron ore and iron. Thank you for the good work, Jobbos. So far, even with everything we've used, we're still sitting at 455 tons of iron ore, and I have 88 tons of iron available. I am moving the ladder shaft over a little bit, well, by 1 tile, so that way I can fully encase the rocket inside of insulated tiles. Between that and this brick that I'm putting in, we won't have to worry about the exhaust when our away team takes off. I'm also going to go through the painstaking process of relocating all the debris that is currently sitting over here for the simple reason that when the rocket does take off, all of this would turn into steam and just be more problems than it's worth. Apparently, Rover can't relocate. Rover can sweep, but not relocate. Noosh, why are you sleeping in here? Oh no. And we never got our Joya seed. Oh, that's why, because they can't get inside the rocket, because I deconstructed the ladder. Oh, there's one mess. Here we go. There's another mess. Don't worry, it just turns into more oxygen, all said and done. Now, because of where the environment ended up, there is this gap here where some carbon dioxide and stuff will be able to come over. So what I'm gonna do is put a manual airlock here. Oh, let's not make it out of wolframite. Let's make it out of steel. In fact, I will make it a mechanized airlock. So that way, when we do finally get some power here, I can power it so it opens and closes quicker. And that way, when the carbon dioxide comes up, it only has the vacuum of space to escape into and it won't hit this atmosphere. But that also means it is time for a door that encloses the atmosphere. There is a little bit of oxygen here, but it's also a lot of carbon dioxide. There's a bunch of solid tiles of carbon dioxide, like this. Oh, my ladder rung's gonna be right in the way of the iron volcano. How disappointing is that? Okay, we just won't make it right here. We'll make a new shaft right here. It's also time to submit the bioscan on the door. Here we go. And there she is, the temporal tear opener. Deliver 1,000 rad bolts is the first step. I suppose we also have enough wolframite here, and iron ore as a matter of fact, to put in a sweet, sweet fire pole. That'll help us moving around here. As well, putting some tiles where they're running laterally, which will give them the tile bonus of plus 25% run speed. And yeah, that's not a lot, but over time, every little bit helps. Question is, where am I going to put my solar panels for my introductory power? I mean, this would be a convenient spot. That way they can jump on the door, jump over here, and just keep building over. Yeah, why not? Let's do it here. Where's the rest of my glass? Oh no, I must have replaced it with something else. Well, now we gotta ship over glass. But for now, these two will be just fine. I've got plenty of iron. I'm just gonna start with conductive wire because I know I'm gonna end up going there anyways. Then we're gonna run it right through here. And here's where we'll put some basic stuff, starting with the exosuit forge. Don't leave home without it, because your suits will not make it. Speaking of which, I also need to set up my vent before my rocket fills up with carbon dioxide. I think this is as good of a spot as any. Look at Rover doing the good work. I also need to make sure I put repair atmosuits on forever. Doesn't look like we have any worn out yet, but it's only a matter of time. In fact, these two are down to 19 and 12%. We'll also put in a couple of jumbo batteries. I just chose a random area. I'm sure these will get relocated eventually, but that way we can store some of the solar power so when it gets to be nighttime, we can still run things like our exosuit forge. And because I already have to ship over some glass, it's time to put in a payload opener as well. Loving the fact that it's already nice and cold here and I don't have to worry about magma. We'll add some wonderful conveyor rails. Little conveyor chute, and then over here on Fernio, I will ship over 10 tons of glass. Let's get this place cleared out as well. Not only do we get one iron volcano, so far we are up to 4. Oh, of course. There's a beautiful point of interest here, and my ladder is going to be in the way again. Oh, and it's got some sweet, sweet vending machines in it too. It's okay. I'm not messing with the point of interest. I don't care how cool it would look. Okay, who am I kidding? Yes, I do. We'll just move the ladder over to this tile here. Yes, it removes a little bit of a point of interest, and it puts the fire pole on the left. Let me know in the comments below. Are you a fire pole on the left or a fire pole on the right type of ONI player? Inquiring minds need to know, and well, the video needs engagement. I think this is where we will make our temporal tear opener work. This area right here, because I can seal this in, set up some equipment, a nice cooling loop for all the rad bolt generators, and leave this open to the sky. That way we get all the radiation we need. Well, it's not a lot. It's 250 rads per cycle, which only ends up being 25 rad bolts per cycle. But we'll work out the minutia here in a bit. Speaking of minutia, I need to be able to put in some environment here. How many levels do you think I can get here? That's 4. So if this was a real level, that means the other level would be right there. I'm happy with that, yes. We'll make this happen. I need to put in the targeting beacon, which I don't understand why they say it's unreachable. I think it's because they can't stand on this tile to climb on top of the door. So I'll put a granite ladder right here. I can't build it here because the rocket engine itself is in the way, but now they'll be able to get up there. And that way, when the payloads come in, we'll be able to grab them as long as they don't land over here. Because right now, we don't have a way to get down there. I suppose I can just put a door here. We won't be using it very often, so I'll make it out of steel even. Wait, it says I have 200 kilos worth of steel. Why won't you select it? Oh, something's wonky. Let me reload. Even after the reload, it still says I can't use this steel. It also makes me wonder why. It's sitting right here. It's okay. I'm fine. I'll send over more steel. By the way, for those interested, the launch cost to Frostado, being 7 star map hexes away, is 70 rad volts. Oh, you know what? I don't actually want to make that out of steel anyways, do I? No, because that would transfer thermals. I want to use an insulated door. Ooh la la, learning is occurring. I'd also kind of want an insulated door here, to be honest. Although it will slow down the trip a little bit, because insulated doors are terribly slow to open. First payload is coming in, although we are not really charged yet. This planetoid only has at max 10,000 lux, which is not enough to really get it cooking. But luckily for us, since we have the payloads coming in, I can manually empty them. And once we do that, we will be able to get the glass out of them to make more solar panels. Now, manually opening the payload is definitely not efficient. As you can see, Fallout Stan has been around for quite some time, but it is a storing task. You'll notice there's not really a skill associated with storing. We think about storing stuff when we think about, carry strength, but nothing improves the speed at which they're able to store things. Hence the reason, doesn't matter how good your dupes get, manually opening up an interplanetary payload shell takes a little bit of time. And because the targeting beacon is not activated, we are making a giant mess everywhere. But hey, at least we got the second solar panel in. What's everybody doing? Why aren't we in here? Oh, what is going on here? No power. And that's because these solar panels suck that bad in this low light environment. So what we're going to do is deconstruct our rocket control station. I said what we're going to do. And then we'll put a nice manual generator in here. And then the manual generator will be responsible for charging the rocket's battery. Well, maybe not responsible for it in whole. The solar panels will help, but it's not a lot. All right, you can go to sleep now. No, just finish the build. Thank you, Kiku. Now run. It's gonna take you a minute. The battery holds 100 kilojoules. It also means with the amount of low power that we're driving from these solar panels, this is not gonna be able to be our only source of power. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, I need to put in some more solar panels. More batteries would also help to be able to capture how much power we're able to store during the night. Man, I may have sent over too much stuff, huh? And that's just glass. I'm shipping over the steel now, and next is going to be the iron. Okay, what happened to the door here? Our dupes can't get down because this door has just disappeared. Okay, that's weird. Let's go ahead and put this door in. Had I already deconstructed it when I talked about putting the insulated one in? I don't know. Here it is, just passing midday, and you can see we're getting about 74 watts from the solar panels. Not great. Not great at all. The iron's getting ready to be picked up and sent over along with the steel and the glass. We are getting a little bit of power, up to 2.2 kilojoules, which means they will be able to start dropping some of these payloads off at the payload opener, just like Kiku is doing now. And what's great is they can hold a lot of payloads and drop a lot of them off at a time. As you can see, there's 9 payloads in it right now. Unfortunately, it is draining our power pretty well. Just as soon as I get some more iron, I will be able to hook up the rest of... Ooh, I can't even put it there. When the temporal tear opens and it shoots a beam, it goes straight up through here. I'm not sure what's going to happen to this solar panel when it does. In fact, the solar panel may block, it may obstruct the line of sight like it sort of does now. So I'm going to dig these tiles out so it'll release the line of sight obstructive message. I think what I also will do, just for temporary measures, until we get the power situation here figured out, is throw a manual generator in here. And it would make me use conductive wire made out of steel, so I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to deconstruct this jumbo battery and then put the manual generator in its place. And that way, yes, it's going to take the dupes a little bit of time to run on the wheel, but we'll have plenty of power for the exosuit forge and the payload opener when we need. Some of these piles of sleet wheat are absolutely ludicrous. Normally, a planetoid does not start running, so to speak, until you get visibility of it. Well, if you remember at the beginning of the episode how the planetoid looked, there must have been some sleet wheat showing, because there's 288 sleet wheat grains deep frozen right here. Unfortunately, they have pollution exposure, which means they are going to go off. Taking a quick look at our resources, there are 630 kilos worth of sleet wheat here. Kilos. That is a lot. So what I'd like to do is get them in a fridge and a carbon dioxide bath really quick. Oh, this might be perfect. Actually, no, the liquid carbon dioxide does not work. It says normal atmosphere, and it's too cold at some of these southern parts of the planetoid for gas carbon dioxide. I mean, even right here, it's flickering back and forth. As a reminder, liquid carbon dioxide turns into a gas at minus 48.1. Oh, look at this beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to try very hard to keep as much of this carbon dioxide in place as possible. So I'm going to put these two tiles in, and then I'm going to dig these out. Hey, where are you going? You have work to do. The wonderful constant power of the 400 watts at the manual generator has managed to fill these batteries up nicely. So a lot of our materials are coming in. I mean, even looking at it, the storage capacity of one refrigerator is only 100 kilos. I need a lot more refrigerators. Before I let all of that escape, I think what I'm going to do is build a ladder down here to build this wall first. And that way that solid carbon dioxide doesn't go anywhere. At least, you know, that's the plan. And I'll keep this liquid lock in place. That way it doesn't escape over here while I haven't dug this out. Although it doesn't seem like the dupes are cooperating much, there's just an awful lot to do on the planetoid. We're still collecting, well, way too many interplanetary payloads. Getting those opened, we're running on the wheel, we're building all this. One more tile. There we go. And now I can emphasize this area. I'm also going to mop up this carbon dioxide and move it over here and empty the buckets, because these tiles might be a little bit warm. It might allow that carbon dioxide to off-gas a little bit. I don't understand what's going on now, but we're up to 907 kilos worth of sleet wheat grain. It is all deep frozen and in a sterile atmosphere. And you might be wondering why I'm making a big deal of it as soon as I find a little bit of grain somewhere. And it's because you'll see in this stack that I just ejected from this refrigerator, there is 100 sleet wheat grain. Each grain is 1 kilo. Remember what I said, it only took 3 kilos to make a frost bun. Well, right now with 891 kilos worth, that's enough for 297 frost buns, which ends up being about 356,000 calories. With each dupe only eating 1,000, well, that gives me plenty of food to feed the dupes long after I play this save file. Oh my gosh, there's still 228 up here. I have to expand our fridge system. I wanted to highlight that with us removing the tiles in front of the window tiles, that the temporal tear opener no longer has that obstruction message. But I'm pretty sure that's going to change when we put this solar panel into place. Unfortunately, our expansion is not going the greatest. All of our gases are slipping out because this liquid is taking its place. I'm going to try to get rid of these cold tiles, which may allow this area to heat up just a smidge. In fact, I'll build a couple of temperature shift plates like this, and that should do it. I won't even do every single tile, I'll do every other one. It's not working. I need more temperature shift plates. Carbon dioxide is so very close to being warm enough. I'm also going to throw a bottle emptier here so they have some place where they could put any liquid carbon dioxide that we find on the colony. You may notice that we've been doing some sweeps in the background. I've got a couple of automatic dispensers. Right now, there's no liquids that we have, well, other than carbon dioxide, for me to put these things into a bath. But this isn't too big of a deal. In fact, I'm going to change this to be a metal tile, just to sort of help guarantee that all of this is going to stay nice and frozen. I also wanted to highlight the fact that this solar panel now has the temporal tear obstructed again. So we're going to get rid of that one. Now I could put in a couple over here. That'll give me a total of 6 solar panels, which is not gravy, but will help keep the duplicants off the wheels a little bit. And we don't have to worry about the solar panels blocking the radiation because the solar panels themselves have a radiation blocking effect of 0%. So this area that we plan on using for our rad bolt generation for the temporal tear will still work just fine. I also wanted to highlight something here with the security door. Notice none of this carbon dioxide is going through it. In other words, the security door kind of acts like an airlock. So whatever I do over here, I don't have to worry about losing the oxygen over here. Ah, yes, finally. We're up to 950 kilos of sleet wheat grain, and they're all sitting in a nice carbon dioxide bath, which means they're basically in a deep freezer in a nice sterile atmosphere. In other words, they'll stay like that forever, as long as, well, we can keep it like that. You know, grand wishes. Oh no, we're already starting to get some melting water. Let me go ahead and mop this up and sweep the rest of this ice. Please no, don't. Please no. And one manual generator is enough to keep our exosuit forge and payload openers open. It is not enough to keep 5 or 6 rad bolt generators going. Remember, a rad bolt generator is 480 watts each. And I've already shown you that the amount of radiation we have here is only, at least in this point, because it's in an environment, about 22 rad bolts per cycle. Now we could do something with the wheezeworts. Put some rad bolt generators right next to a few wheezeworts, but if we naturally plant the wheezeworts, they'll require phosphorite. Not a big deal, I can ship over a couple of tons. But regardless, I still need the 480 watts per rad bolt generator to collect 1,000 rad bolts. So whether we do it just by the natural environment or by wheezeworts, power is going to be an issue here. There's a possible solution. In the long term, these solar panels would probably be just fine for what this colony would need. In the short term, depending on how much ice melting and that sort of stuff we do for water. If we take a look to all of our forms of ice, you can see just with the standard clean ice, we have 155 tons. To kind of put that in perspective, that's a water tank a little bit bigger than this, which would be plenty of water to keep the dupes oxygenated. But the other source of power that we actually have a potential for is from the 4 iron volcanoes. That's a lot of heat that we could be strapping steam turbines to, automating, and only allowing them to run when the jumbo battery says to run. And what's great about having 4 of them in close proximity is I'd only need 1 thermal aqua tuner to keep all of those steam turbines cold. So that's what I'm thinking. Battery bank, thermal aqua tuner. We'll use that to keep this area cool, to keep our steam turbines cool, to keep all of our sleet wheat fresh, and also to just provide power. We'll unlock the temporal tear, you know, all the standard stuff. So let me know in the comments below whether or not you want to collect rad bolts through the environment or through the wheezeworts. Also, let me know what you think of our power plan. And oh my gosh, I cannot take a thumbnail with this nasty debris here, considering how clean the rest of the place is. I'm looking forward to hearing everything you have to say, and are continuing to enjoy the series. As a reminder, every single like and comment really does help the performance of the video, the series, and the channel. So until next time, much love, happy gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.